you were a big fan of Army of the Dead, then don't fear, as Netflix is more than committed to making the zombie epic into a franchise. The sequel is officially titled Planet of the Dead and was confirmed in July 2021 after the success of the first film. As Zack Snyder said, there are plenty more stories to be told in this universe, so it sounds like there's a good chance that you haven't seen the last of Dieter, even though he seemingly got killed by the zombie known as Zeus. Army of the Dead recap. Zombie, action, heist, thriller, horror, comedy, it's all of your favorite types of movies mashed into one. And whatever genre you're into, you can likely find a taste of that here. Army of the Dead follows a group of mercenaries who, after a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas, venture into the quarantine zone to attempt the greatest heist ever. But what started as an escapist zombie heist movie eventually develops into a hard action movie. It's a few fun, but superficial surprises quickly washed away in favor of embracing the bleakness popular in the post-Walking Dead era of zombie stories. Army of the Dead's opening teases a darkly hilarious and ironic zombie romp set in Sin City, presenting all the backstory and world-building requirement. Long story short, the ex-mercenary Scott Ward is hired by Bly Tanaka, the casino owner, to bring back some money that was left in the super-secure vault in Las Vegas before the city was overrun by zombies. The government has evacuated the city and quarantined people that might be affected, and has plans to blow up the city with a nuclear bomb on the 4th of July. What a plan! Scott made a great team for his heist: the soldier and philosopher Van der Rohe, Maria and mechanic and Scott's love interest Ludwig, a German lockpick who can open the safe, Marianne Peters, the pilot that can fly them to safety using an abandoned helicopter, and Guzman and Chambers, two highly proficient sharpshooters. Anyway, in the end, it turns out that Tanaka was never interested in retrieving the money. He was working with the US government to retrieve the head of the zombie bride, which will supposedly allow anyone to control all of the zombies. As a matter of fact, pretty much everyone dies in the process.
What a hunk of junk.
Release date. It's safe to say 2021 has been a very good year for Zack Snyder. Not only did he finally get to release the fan champion Zack Snyder's Justice League, he also delivered unto Netflix's zombie adventure Vegas set heist flick Army of the Dead. It's important to mention that 72 million subscribers gorged on Snyder's action-packed zombie epic in its first few weeks of release. Those numbers contributed to Snyder's just-inked first-look deal with Netflix, and yes, they played a big part to an Army of the Dead sequel being included in that deal. Now the question is, not if the Army of the Dead sequel is going to happen, but when. Unfortunately, even Zack Snyder himself likely cannot answer that question just yet, as the film is still very early in production.
We done miss something? Because we're rich here.
I didn't come here for the money, dumb shit.
Netflix's film head Scott Stuber said in a statement to see Snyder return to his roots with Army of the Dead, which is now one of our most popular films, and build a world out of these characters with the upcoming Army of Thieves and anime series, is amazing to see. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Snyder is also smashing that like button just like you should do if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, he'll first work on his Star Wars-inspired movie Rebel Moon, which is set to go into production in early 2022. Once that's complete, then Snyder is set to move on to the horror sequel. This is pure speculation for now, but the earliest that production could start working on the sequel is late 2022, which means it could be late 2023 until it premieres on Netflix. The first movie certainly left viewers with plenty to discuss after watching it.
I love you so much. I'm so sorry.
Cast. This is a pretty short list as there were not many characters left alive, but it's a zombie movie at the end of the day, so who knows, maybe not everybody from the cast is as dead as we thought. Anyway, of the main cast, only Omari Hardwick's Van der Rohe and Ella Purnell's Cat Ward definitely survived, and Van der Rohe is hardly in the prime of his life and is set to be a zombie any moment now. He'd most likely still be in the sequel, but they'll have to find a way for Kate to return for more zombie adventures. She got some money from her dad before she had to mercy kill him, so the best for her would be to get as far away from zombies as possible. And what about Ludwig? Well, on Army of Thieves, a movie focused on Ludwig's life before the Las Vegas heist, there isn't any indication of whether he died in the vault. I won't tell you what happens in Army of the Dead 2, but let's just say that there's a chance Dieter survives, said Snyder. Gwendolyn was played by the beautiful Natalie Emmanuel in the prequel movie, so we really hope that we'll see her in the sequel as well. But let's keep in mind that any cast member from Army of the Dead or Army of Thieves could be back for Planet of the Dead.
Hey. What's wrong?
Mom's gone.
Army of the Dead 2 First Look. What happened in Vegas doesn't always stay in Vegas. at least not in this case. The final scene of Army of the Dead presents Omari Hardwick's Vandero purchasing a private jet with the riches from Blight Tanaka's safe, and for just a moment it seems as if we might have a happy ending. Soon after he realizes he has a zombie bite on his arm and that the infection is starting to take effect, the movie ends before we see his full transformation. But according to the rules that Army of the Dead has set, it's unlikely that Vandero is going to survive this. Anyway, that doesn't necessarily mean that his story is over. Given that he was bitten by the alpha zombie, he's likely to become an alpha himself, which means that he'll become a member of the undead with intellect and agility well above that of a standard shambler. Therefore, Vandero will probably become the next zombie leader, taking the place of the defeated Zeus and repopulating the infected population. Even before the sequel was announced, Snyder threw a few spoilers for a follow-up. Speaking to Polygon, he teased insane plans for a sequel, and they all revolve around Vandero's flight into Mexico after being bitten. So our prediction for the second part is that Kate Ward will probably face off against one of her father's former friends.
Okay, how long will it take you to open it?
30 minutes.
Plot details. You wouldn't think a movie about a heist taking place in zombie-infested Las Vegas would leave so many mysteries, but this is Snyder we're talking about, and this is definitely his universe. There are, however, some mysteries that even Snyder himself and some of the cast members started to address, and one of them is Gita's fate. First of all, we don't learn too much about how the zombies came about other than that the alpha zombie Zeus was originally at Area 51. The origins of the zombies and the actual zombie war will probably be explored in more detail in spin-off series Army of the Dead, Las Vegas. Either way, the zombies might have been destroyed in Vegas, but the cliffhanger clearly sets up that the zombie threat isn't over if Army of the Dead does return for a sequel. Vandero's delayed transformation could mean he's immune to whatever created Zeus, but he still might spread it when he lands in Mexico City. With an end like this, Army of the Dead raised more questions than answers for the fans. Snyder's commentary on the time loop certainly demonstrates that a lot more is going on in the Army of the Dead universe than meets the eye. With everything that's already been said about it, the story remains a deep and cavernous hole.
It looks like they're taking him to the Olympus.
Good. Now we know where not to go.
On a related note, what do you think of this movie? Are you wishing there's another movie? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss any of our next videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Honestly, how do you ladies make that in that little kitchen back there? Yeah, it's like magic. Voila.